Hey everyone, we all hear the same old advice, right? Eat clean, train hard. But today, we're going to go way beyond that. We're digging into the science to find the specific, evidence-backed levers that can turn good athletes into truly great ones.
So what is it that really separates the good from the great? It's the question that drives every single athlete and coach out there. Is it just raw, God-given talent? Is it about grinding out more hours in the gym than everybody else? Well, the latest research shows the answer is actually a lot more fascinating. It's this incredible mix of science, strategy, and self-awareness.
Yeah, it's definitely not just about talent or how hard you work. Think of peak performance like a really complex puzzle. It's not about finding one single magic piece. Nope, it's about understanding how all the different pieces fit together. So over the next few minutes, we're going to hand you the 3 most important levers you can pull to start building your own performance masterpiece.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the most fundamental lever of them all, your fuel. I mean, what you put into your body is literally the raw material for everything you do. But this is where it gets cool. The science shows that what you eat, and even when you eat it, can have surprisingly different effects depending on what your goals are.
So let's just tackle a huge debate right off the bat. Should you train fasted or fed? Well, the research is pretty clear that there is no single, simple answer for everybody. While some athletes can adapt to fasted training and see pretty similar performance, the overwhelming evidence leans towards training in a fed state for optimal output. And let's just zoom in on this number, a 3.8% decrease. Now, you might look at that and think, that's not that much. But in a competitive world, that is absolutely the difference between winning and not even placing. It's a small number that can have a huge, huge impact.
And you know what? That drop in physical performance is only half the battle. This quote from the research really spells it out. There is a serious psychological cost. We're talking lower motivation, lower energy, and you even enjoy the exercise less. And when all that stuff takes a hit, your consistency is going to suffer. So that's the real takeaway. Fuel affects your mind just as much as it affects your muscles.
So it's not just about when you eat, it's about having the right tools in your nutritional toolbox. And the science gets incredibly specific here. A slow-digesting, low-glycemic meal can actually improve your 10K time in the heat. A semi-solid meal could help you get about 10% more reps on your squats. Even stuff like beetroot juice for better oxygen efficiency or cherry juice to cut down on muscle soreness, these things have real, measurable benefits. All right, let's move on to our second lever, your training strategy. Look, just maxing out your effort every single day isn't the smartest way to get better. It's about being strategic. It's about how you train. A key concept here is something called concurrent training. And no, this isn't just randomly lifting weights one day and then going for a run the next. It's about intelligently weaving both strength and endurance work together into one unified program. And when you get it right, the results are seriously powerful.
And the results? They speak for themselves. Athletes who used concurrent training saw way bigger gains in explosive power, like their vertical jump, than athletes just doing endurance work. They improved their strength and their endurance at the same time, and they even saw better changes in their body composition and VO2 max. It really is the ultimate get more bang for your buck approach.
And beyond that, you've got other advanced methods. You've heard of HIIT, right? High-intensity interval training. Those short bursts of all-out effort are amazing for boosting your aerobic fitness. Then there's VBT, or velocity-based training, which uses tech to track your lifting speed so every single rep is perfectly targeted. And even cluster sets, which break up your reps into little chunks with short rests, so you can lift heavy with less fatigue. Each one has its place. The key is knowing which tool to use and when.
And speaking of VBT, just look at this number. An 18% average improvement in 1 rep max strength. That's the absolute most you can lift for 1 rep. This is not a small gain. This is a massive leap forward, just by making sure every rep is performed at the perfect speed. You prevent wasted effort and maximize how many muscle fibers you're using. That right there is training smarter.
Okay, finally, let's pull our third lever. This one covers all the invisible influences. These are the factors that are just as critical as your diet and your workout, but they're often a lot harder to see and to measure.
And it's a really crucial question to ask. Your environment, your genetics, your sleep, your mindset, all of these things create the background context for your physical efforts. And if you ignore them, you're just leaving performance on the table.
So let's take a look. Environmental factors like heat can have a huge impact. Training in the heat can be a double-edged sword. It might hurt your immediate recovery, but over time it can trigger really positive adaptations, like increasing your red blood cell count. Then you've got genetics, like the ACTN3 gene, which can give you a natural leg up for either strength or endurance. Now, we can't control these things, but just being aware of them lets us adapt our strategy.
And maybe the most powerful invisible influence of them all is the one right between your ears. Performance isn't just a physical game. Your mind is an incredibly powerful and often overlooked factor.
And nothing illustrates this better than sleep. This finding is just incredible. Just one night of bad sleep didn't affect the raw power or speed of these junior tennis players, but it totally destroyed their technical skill and accuracy. Their body was ready to go, but because their brain was tired, their performance just tanked. So the big takeaway here is that psychology matters in ways you might not expect. We already saw how motivation drops when you're fasted, but simple verbal encouragement from a coach, that can make a measurable difference. Listening to music can actually push you further in an endurance test. And on the flip side, get this. We're even learning that some popular recovery methods, like routine ice baths, might actually have small, negative effects on your long-term strength adaptation. The mind and body really are one system.
So, we've looked at the three main levers: fueling, training, and those invisible influences. The big question now is, how do we put all these puzzle pieces together into a blueprint for your success?
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that science doesn't give us a single one-size-fits-all answer. What it gives us is a toolbox. The ultimate key to unlocking your potential is to stop looking for a magic bullet and start building your own personalized system.
Here's a simple framework to get you started. First, define your goal. That tells you which levers are most important. Second, experiment like you're a scientist. Test what fuel works for you. Try different training styles. Third, monitor the invisible data, your sleep quality, your stress levels. Treat them like critical data points. And finally, number 4, be ready to adapt. The perfect plan for you today will not be the perfect plan a year from now.
So now you have the puzzle pieces of athletic performance, everything from nutrition science to training strategy to the power of the mind. The question isn't, what's the secret anymore? The real question is, how are you going to use these pieces to build your own unique masterpiece?